What's going on, guys? The Merciless Ghostie back again with another movie discussion. Of course, we're talking Scream today. The new movie comes out Friday. It's time for me to review and discuss the series, in particular the new movie and this movie that revitalized slasher movies in the 90s. Up to this point, the genre was pretty much dead. Now, my format for how I review movies is going to be different from most reviewers. Also, how I rate movies will change depending on genre. So most reviewers, it's pretty straightforward and standard. Likes, dislikes, give rating, and that's it. I'm going to be a little bit differently. In my opinion, you can't judge movies the same way. I can't judge a horror movie the same way I would a comedy. I'm going to those movies for two vastly different experiences. But this is how I'm going to rate my horror and slasher movies. Number one most important thing, suspense and tension. Horror. The top spot. How the movie builds tension and keeps that tension is going to be number one. I'm not going to be looking too much on gore and jump scares, although that kind of does play on my next one, which is kill creativity. However creative the kills get, that's going to be number two. Number three, this one is going to be number one for other movies, but for slasher movies, I mean, come on. No one's really coming for this. I did have it as story / characters, but I did decide to simplify that and just call it writing. So the writing. And lastly, the score. I love good scores in a horror movie. Like Halloween, stuff like that. Movies like that. Just one example. I really think it really adds to the movie. So that's going to be not as important, but it is something that I do pay attention to whenever I watch these type of movies. That being said, let's get into it. We're going to start right off with the suspense and tension, and this movie opens with that in spades. Drew Barrymore, who's a big name actress at this point, plays Casey Becker. The movie opens with her getting phone calls from what seems like a stranger. Calls start pretty lighthearted, just seemingly someone dialed the wrong number. As the person keeps calling, the tone in the call starts to change. At one point, it seems like he's going to ask her out on a date. He says, "You never told me your name." She goes, "Why do you want to know my name?" "Because I want to know who I'm looking at." I think that's a pretty universal fear for everybody getting a phone call like that. But everything really starts to take a turn from there. It's revealed she has a boyfriend who is tied to a chair on a back patio. She has to answer slasher trivia questions to save both of their lives. She fails on her boyfriend's question, which is like one of the most basic slasher questions you could ever get. It's actually kind of funny she got it wrong. He dies. She said she's done with the game. So he busts through, he throws a chair through the back window and chases her through the house. He eventually finds her and kills her. But from there, the tension is far and few between in the movie after that opening scene. There are some moments like the school bathroom scene where the main actress, who I'll talk about more in depth in writing, Neve Campbell, is in there by herself. Well, first she's listening to people basically trash her and her mother, but we'll get into that. She's in there by herself, and Ghostface eventually comes out of one of the stalls. It was a pretty tense moment. I thought it was pretty cool. There was another one near the end, the police car scene at the party, which are tense moments. But overall, it's a big drop after that opening. But with some nice moments sprinkled in and a tense opening, it's good enough to get a 7 out of 10 for me in tension. Next up, we're going to be looking at kill creativity, and oof, does this film really lack in this area. Everything is pretty basic. It's all pretty much knife kills. And after the opening, there was a long gap between kills. They brought in another named actor, Henry Winkler, plays the principal, to be a. They went for the shock value because he was a big name actor. He's just there to be killed. It's pretty lame if I'm being honest. His character is useless to the movie. He's just there to add another kill. He gets a knife in the stomach. Not much else to it. There is one creative kill with the garage door. Other than that, there's not much in this film going on in terms of creative kills or even kills in general. So that's why I'm just gonna give it a 2 out of 10. There's not really much going on with the kills in this movie. Now it's time for the category that will rank the highest for other films and genres, that is writing. I think for a slasher film, nobody is really going to see these films for a great plot or character development. That's why it's a little lower here. But this is the film's strongest point in my opinion. I applaud the effort in giving a slasher film some depth and a good story. You got the final girl, Sydney Prescott, who was played by Neve Campbell. She's a pretty normal high school girl with a bit of a past. She's dealing with some PTSD from seeing her mom get killed 1 year prior to the events of this film. Through the film, her boyfriend Billy, who is played by Skeet Ulrich, wants to have sex with her. They do a good job of keeping you second guessing if he's the killer or not, though there are some strong hints through the film. Sydney is always reluctant to have sex with them because of things that happened with their mom and how people of the town see her mom. But she's a very capable final girl. She doesn't make any really glaringly stupid decisions like you see in a lot of these movies. She fights off the killer several times through the film. There's another scene where Courtney Cox's character, Gail Weathers, who plays a journalist, corners her at a police station after she's attacked and her boyfriend is arrested for showing up to her window after she is attacked. He drops his cell phone, which leads you to believe that he is the killer even more. But Gail corners Sydney at the police station to ask her questions about what happened. And Sydney just clocks her with the right hand and drops her, really adding to the fact that she can handle herself in a situation. She has a group of friends. There's some other great characters, like Randy, who is played by Jamie Kennedy. He plays the movie nerd who drops nuggets of wisdom through the film as to who the killer is, how to survive a horror movie. It's a really meta approach with this character, a self-aware character that I enjoy. There is Stu, who is played by Matthew Lillard. He's got some great moments and is enjoyable every time he's on screen. He's friends with Billy, Sydney's boyfriend, who I mentioned earlier. He's my personal favorite character. The one character I'm kind of meh on is Dewey, who is played by David Arquette. He's very much the stereotype bumbling cop as the movie progresses. He has these little interactions with Courtney Cox's character Gail. You can feel the romance and the sexual tension between them. I find it a little unbelievable. The two actors got married in real life after this movie, and that's the only part of the film that really feels forced to me. I have a hard time believing that these two would be that into each other based on two interactions that they have in their entire lives. Overall, I appreciate what they went for in the film though, giving the characters a little more development and the way it weaves comedy in with the horror. So I'm going to give the writing an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, the last category. This could get replaced with something else in the future, but score is something that I always pay attention to in a horror film. A good score can really add to the tension of a film. So I'm going to leave it in here for now. See how it goes. With Scream, I'm not too crazy on the score on it, to be honest. It's very loud, very heavy on the orchestra. I prefer a more subtle piano score in my horror movies. I can't play any of the score here, unfortunately, for copyright reasons. Also, the The score was used in other horror films of the time, like Halloween H2O, so it loses a lot of steam for me. Hearing it in multiple movies, if I heard the Halloween theme in a Friday the 13th movie, that would stick out to me in a bad way. It's not a terrible score, but not the best. I gave it a 6 out of 10. Overall, Scream is a fun 90s slasher movie that's easy to digest and a good first watch for new fans to the genre. So get some friends, grab some popcorn, and check out Scream.